Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a good video for you today. This video is going to be about religion in prison and how it works, why religions control things and why they don't, and why people go to certain religions. So this is going to be an interesting video. Before I get started, please check me out on YouTube member programs, Patreon. Check me out on Discord. Please check the book out. Gangster Redemption is still going great. Check out the cigars right here. crookeddiamondcigar.com. crookeddiamondcigar.com. All this information is in the links below. And thank you. And if you haven't done it, please subscribe. We really need that. And it helps us see who wants to do stuff with us. So please do that. Now, we're going to go right into this video. I'm going to enjoy this video. Because, I used to think a lot of things were crazy in prison. Then religion is like on the top of the list of crazies in prison. And you're going to say, what do you mean, Larry? Listen, I have no qualms with any religion. I want to get that straight. And if it takes a person to have a religion or have a faith, if you'd like to call it that, to get through, good for them. Whatever it takes. And I'm going to go through some of the religions. You have the Protestant religion. You have the Catholic religion. You have the Muslims. Then you have the Native Americans. You have the pagans. You have the Jewish religion, Church of Christ, Buddhists are in prison, Jehovah's Witnesses are in prison, Seventh-day Adventists, the Mormons, Eastern Orthodox, Apostolic, whatever the hell that is, Hindu. Listen, they consider atheist a religion in prison, Pentecostal, and the Sikh. Now, within the Muslim religion, you have Sunni, Shia. They were with the Iran-Iraq wars for many years. And then you have the Nation of Islam. Now, that's an American version of Muslim. And a lot of the a lot of the Muslims from the Shia and the Sunni from over in the Middle East, they believe that the Nation of Islam has bastardized their religion. And they actually have some of the biggest wars in prison going on. You'd have the Nation of Islam fighting others. You'd have a Shia and Sunni religion who hate each other on the outside, join up on the inside and fight the Nation of Islam. Because the Nation of Islam, as they said, bastardized their religion. I'll give you one little hint. They call Ramadan. Ramadan it's the holy month of Ramadan. And the real Ramadan rotates dates. There's a whole thing on that. But not the Nation of Islam. They make it their days and that's the end of it. Typical Americans who take over a religion, they want to do what they want. Now, me, myself, all the prisons, I was never into the religion game except when we needed to have a meeting of some sort, we'd meet at the church. So when things would happen, they'd have church on a Sunday. Now, it was kind of funny because you'd see a lot of the gang leaders and mob bosses and some people heading over to the chapel for Sunday church. They'd have a meeting in the back of the church, or like right before the gathering. Everybody's ready to go before the priest comes in, because most prisons have an outside priest come in and actually do service. And then they would meet and then make deals, who's running what drugs on what cell block and whatever else it is. And then some wouldn't even go to church. They'd like get up like they're pissed and leave, because you could do that. But in that prison we were in, you just couldn't do that. You had to literally wait for the next move. See, now moves happen every hour. So if they had a 12 o'clock mass or 1 o'clock mass that they all went to, some of these masses go longer than it's supposed to, and you just get stuck in the chapel. Well, they would book out of there as soon as they could because they did their business. I watched drug deals go down in these chapels and stuff. Now, I'm not saying all of it's like that, because it's not. It's amazing because in prison, they have to give you religion. Now, most of the religion, the most popular religion is Protestant religion. And that's kind of a non-denominational, just Protestant. It's the basic, and that's 28% of the prison system is Protestant. And then the next biggest is Catholic, it's just 24%. And then Muslim is 8.4%. Native American is actually number 5. And I'll tell you why I think that is. I've been into what they call a sweat lodge. A sweat lodge is where they pray on a Sunday. They would have their service, or Saturday, I think it was. And you'd have to be invited into the sweat lodge. Now, this is in prison too, Native American. And I went in there to sweat. Now, when I say sweat, a regular person cannot handle that. It makes a sauna look like it's a cool bath. That's how bad it is. And let me tell you what happens as well as that. After we did that, we used to smoke weed. We actually used to smoke weed in the sweat lodge because that's where we used to keep it, because they have to break down their sweat lodge in prison. They don't just leave a sweat lodge up because it's had blankets all over the tops and stuff like that, and how they keep the heat in. Well, when you go in there, I've watched people pass out in there, literally pass out. And it happens a lot. I didn't. I liked it, and I went there. I was partying with the Indians guys there and smoking weed and all that kind of stuff. It was funny because we sometimes you'd store stuff there. I mean, prisons are a little bit different than your regular church, so we'd have that. Then I had a friend of mine named Bobby Asdamian, and Bobby was a very close friend of mine. He was a concert musician. Concert. At 7 years old, he played in Carnegie Hall, New York. He's a prodigy. And he ended up getting caught for selling kilos of cocaine. I guess they didn't pay too much in the piano world. And he gets caught and he gets a long sentence. He's since died in prison. And one of my close friends, I was in when he died. Matter of fact, we were so close, his dad and my dad used to visit the prison together. And he'd call him out, and he gets called out and I get called out. We're sitting close. We'd all be talking and stuff. And he was just such a sweetheart. Well, he played music for all the bands and all the religions. And you go, what do you mean? Yes, the Rastafarians, the Muslims, the Christians, whoever, even the pagan religions. They call them pagan, which is Wicca and a couple other. Those have Bobby as their musician. Now you go, wow, how can somebody play that many songs? How many, or what kind of person? The guy was so good. Obviously, he was a concert musician, but I used to sit and talk to him, and he taught me to play two songs. Sweet Home Alabama, C, D, F, and G is the keys, and that's Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner, and Old Lang Syne. And the reason I just went dun 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 dun. Oh, I played that with two hands. Now Bobby used to sit next to me on the piano, and he had what they call narcolepsy, so he'd do this. And I'm excited. I got Bobby, yeah, and he'd get up. Well, anyway, Bobby died of a heart attack in prison, and he was a very good friend of mine. He played for the religions. Now, that's why we had access to his piano when he gave me the lessons. And I was in Coleman, Florida with him. And so I got to go to the music room with him and hang out. And I used to like to hear his music so much, I'd say, Bobby, I'm thinking of a song. He goes, what's the name? I don't know. And he goes, well, hum it. I hum something. He go, oh, I play the whole song. I mean, he blew me away. The guy was a unbelievable musician, best I've ever seen in my life. And I knew him very, very well. And he ended up dying from lack of medical care. They didn't care about him in prison. He ended up dying. So it's a sad case on that end. But religion is part of what Bobby did in the prison system. Then the Jewish religion. You know, I watched more people become Jewish. In fact, my buddy Paul Italini, he ends up become a Jewish religion, and then he becomes a rabbi. He ends up taking courses to be a rabbi. This is no joke. Paul was crazy. But Paul only got that because they used to give kosher food. So you get kosher, you used to get the fresh stuff. You used to get the stuff that was wrapped up, and they had to make a kosher meal. And I think kosher means it's got to be a certain way, and it's got to be blessed and all this kind of stuff. I don't know who blessed it, the warden? Who knows? But it's a kosher meal they have to give them when you are religious. If you're a Jewish person, you say you want kosher meal, you have to get that. You would look and say, I never knew you were a Jew. He'd go, I'm not a Jew. I go, yes, you are. You get kosher meals. Oh, yeah, I put that on a record. What? Here's why that's important. When you first go to prison, they ask you what's your faith. You could say, nothing. I'm an atheist. Or I'm Protestant. Or I'm Catholic. Or I'm Muslim. They put it down. So what happens there is when they put your religion down, to change your religion, you don't just say, well, today I'm going to be Jewish. I get kosher meal. Then tomorrow I'm back because they got good food on the line. You know, they had chicken days, and maybe they couldn't eat that chicken or whatever the food it was. And you say, I'm not a Jew anymore. Today I'm not a Jew. No, you can't do that. You have to state what your religion is, especially when you're getting the food for that. That's very important. So you'd also have the wars build up. Now, I happen to be nothing. I'm not an atheist. Now, let me explain that to some people. They go, well, Larry, if you're not an atheist, but you don't believe, what religion do you believe in? I don't believe in any religion. I'm what they call spiritual. And secondly, I'm an agnostic. Agnostic is a person that believes in something, but now what it is, I don't know. You kind of got to prove it to me. That's what an agnostic is. And that's what Larry Lawton is. And the reason I am an agnostic is because when you think about this whole entire planet and this universe and this world, somebody, people where science and where religion meet and actually agree, it is when, if you believe in evolution, evolution is the atom splitting and then life forms happening and then, evolution of an animal and, men come up from apes and all this and they go right into man. I believe that. I actually believe in evolution. And I think science is a big prover of that. Now, what science can't prove, and even when scientists and the best in the world come together with religion is, if you believe in the Big Bang, who started the Big Bang? Something started something somewhere. Or somebody, not it has to be a body, something. No, where did it all begin? Even if no matter how far you can get back, you say, where did it start? Well, nobody knows. There's some miracles or whatever. You want to talk about the biggest miracle ever. It's, in my mind, is not, God walking on water. That's a great trick. No, it's the atoms happening and then the world coming about. But who started the atoms? That's a miracle. And in my mind, it's something that so far is unexplainable in science and everything else. So it gets back to, well, we don't know. And I'm a believer in that way. So that's why I am an agnostic. But I would watch guys come to prison, and now they're the most holiest guy in their religious group, whether it's a Muslim, whether it's a Protestant, a Catholic, I don't care who it is. And the first thing they're doing, just like the streets, they're fucking and having sex and doing things that are unchristian-like, if you want to call it. They're smacking dope. They're stealing. They're getting booty. They're maneuvering drugs throughout the prison. They're the biggest drug dealer in the prison. I don't know how religious that is or how spiritual that is, but I don't know. I consider myself an agnostic, which is I don't care what people do, what they do, and I believe in what I want to believe. Maybe today I believe in God, maybe tomorrow I don't. I mean, I know people saying, what do you mean laugh? No, religion is a funny thing, okay? So now I'm just going to go into one thing that kind of what the Muslims used to get me going is same thing. When the Muslims want to fight or do something and they're supposed to be a peaceful organization, there's nothing in the Quran. Now, mind you, I've read the Bible 5 times. I can quote you verses. Psalms 111, verse 9 says, holy and reverend is my name. You can look in the Bible, the whole Bible. Psalms 111, verse 9. Holy and reverend is my name. And that's the only verse anywhere in the Bible that it refers to God as a reverend. So you show me where I need to be calling a priest or another person reverend. Because if you look up the word reverend, it means to hold in awe and fear. That's reverence. You hold him in awe. Do you hold another man in awe and fear? I don't. If there was a real God, I'd hold him in awe and fear. So I will never call another man, hey, reverend, just like I won't call another man father. Because in the Bible says, call no man thy father, as father is in heaven. And they don't mean your paternal father. He's meaning in a spiritual way. So why should I say, hey, Father Rick, come bless me? Father Rick? No, he's not my father. I have one father, and if you believe in real God, my father's in heaven. So I've read the Bible 5 times. I've read the Quran 3 times. And it says you will die a fiery death if you kill an innocent in the Quran. So it's not bad. All of the books are supposed to give you peace. But you know what they do? There's more death and destruction in all of the religion books that will blow you away. If you read the book as a book, you will be blown away. And that's what I did. And I've read them all. The Torah, it's really only the Old Testament. And I've read a lot of books on Buddhism, and I believe those more than anyone. But that's my beliefs. I just want to let you know how it goes. Listen, religion in prison is probably no different than religion is on the streets. And if anybody doesn't know what happened to me when I was young, make sure you read the book, Gangster Redemption, and you'll understand why I have a little bit of a negativity. But I don't blame all religions at all. And if somebody's religious, I pray for you. Maybe it will do good. And if it does, hey, say Larry did it. Anyway, everybody, have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this little video on religion in prison. Check us out. We'll be back Thursday for another great video. Stay safe, everybody. Make good choices.